Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're well on this marvellous Monday. That's right, baby, it's still Monday and it's still marvellous like you. And that's why I did you a favour. I shifted things around because I knew that you wouldn't be able to wait for my take on parts of what we spoke of in video 1 today. If you missed video 1 after this video, go check it out. I won't interfere with this video. It will just lead you to understand how I've moved things around for you, so you didn't have to wait as long for my take on the Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk situation, as it would appear that the information surrounding what happened that night and how they were handling that night was leaked to none other than Steve Gonsalves via, it would seem, a conduit in the form of an FBI agent that was then leaked by Howard Bloom. And the grand jurors would go on to say that not only did Bethany and Dylan not sleep through it or not hear anything, but they heard everything. And not only did they hear everything, they were messaging one another throughout the attack. That's correct. So we've got two people inside this house who were texting one another while this attack was going on. Now, it'd be interesting to know if any of those texts between these two went out to anybody else in the house. So it wasn't just that these two were texting one another, because what I would want to establish if I was law enforcement is it just a conversation that is very, very clearly just between these two? Or is it a conversation that is looking to try and speak to everybody, but these are the only two that are answering? Because that would be different, because you would be able to ascertain whether this started out as something and ended out as a conversation just between these two, and what was the context of that conversation, or did it start with these two and end with these two? Because that changes the entire dynamic of what happened in that home, if indeed the communication was just between these two, solely between these two, and neither of them had tried to reach out to anybody else in the house, via text, via call, who knows. But yeah, it would appear that Dylan and Bethany are communicating with one another while this is going on. And I would imagine that, look, what's happened here, law enforcement have alluded to the fact that they have placed what was going on, their entire time frame is based upon that phone conversation. That phone conversation and what has been said by the people in that house. So that's very important to understand. Very, very important to understand. Because what you've got to imagine is this. So the white Hyundai Elantra that we've been led to believe is Brian Kohberger's is only part of the picture because of the information that has come from this house. So the information regarding what Dylan Mortensen has said with regards to being an eyewitness, which that piece of information is sketchy as fuck. And we know that because we know that there was a communication external to this house prior to 911. And it would appear that nobody had come forward, the likes of Dave, WSU Kim, whether you want to believe him or not. But no, what I'm trying to get is nobody has come forward and said that Dylan Mortensen was a witness. No one has said anything. Nothing has been leaked. Nothing about anybody seeing anybody. And in fact, law enforcement, James Fry himself, had said that they were not witnesses. Steve Gonsalves, in this damn publication, has said that he wasn't told. He wasn't told that they'd seen or heard anything. He had to find out through his grand jury leak. And that is incredibly important, guys. Incredibly important. Because we could potentially believe that these two people in this house, like you guys always tell me, you always preach to me, that if you're in a situation, you get yourself an attorney. You get yourself one. Because why? Because you could drop yourself in the shit. That's as simple as that. You get yourself an attorney because you know that law enforcement operate in a manner with which puts you at risk even if you're innocent. And at the end of the day, people lost their lives in this house and you had two survivors. so that they got legal representation. But they could have been leveraged on. It could have been, look, we want you to say that you saw this person. We want you to give us a description that fits along the lines of bushy eyebrows, around 6 foot tall. All right? And I say that the more I look into this, the more I pull it apart, and I get it. I get the old tinfoil hat comments. I get it. But what I can't get my head round is that the entire time frame of events is based on a conversation that happened between two surviving roommates when everybody else in the house was massacred. And you got a communication between these two, and then all of a sudden someone who wasn't a witness then turns into a witness and just happens to give a eyewitness account of what they saw. I don't get it. I just don't understand. And what I've always said to people is, look, you see this in crimes, don't you? We know that there was a DoorDash ordered. And it's my inquisitive mind. It's my, mind going at 100 mile an hour. What is the best way to make it look like something happened at a different time? What is the best way to make it look like someone was alive long after they won? And that is to make it look like there was activity on their phone. Now, we know there was a DoorDash order, but we don't know who ordered it. We know what it looks like happened and what it looks like who ordered it, but we don't know that. We don't know. We do not know who ordered that food. We've got communication between these two girls, but you still have to fathom why not. What if they're talking to each other during this when it's happening? That means that there was two people who decided not to call 911. So even if you want to believe that one person's not going to call 911, even though a 5-year-old would, why do two of them who are communicating with one another, they are texting one another, they are speaking to one another while this is going on, why do neither of them make a decision to call 911? Why do neither of them reach out for help? If they can hear stuff going on and they're in fear of something, then why do they not call 911? It's bizarre. Why do they not come out of their house earlier? If they're messaging each other and they feel that something's going on, something's amiss, and that the roommates are not responding to texts or they're not responding to calls and they've just heard a commotion, whatever, and they're speaking to each other, why do neither of them call 911? Let me know. And I know this is a question that we get hooked on, but with this new information that says that they were messaging each other and the entire timeline is gauged on their communication, and we have to trust so much about these two things. Do you know what I mean? Every single point of this case is fixed on this situation, these two surviving roommates and the version of events that they push out. It brings everything else. And you have to question. And when there's exculpatory evidence with Bethany Funk as well, and I just wonder whether the exculpatory evidence is that was the knife sheath there already? Was it there already? What could that be? We need to know what that is. Let me know down below what you think. This is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And there's no escaping it. People can stick their head in the sand and say you're bad for questioning. I'm not pointing the blame at anyone, but I'm damn well asking questions because I think that there's questions that need to be asked. Messaging each other while it was all going on, but not either of them decided to call 911. But they did, however, call friends. I'll catch you all in the next one.